The world has changed. Now, they're living together on board the Russian Mir space station, a historic first after decades of fierce competition. NBC's John Dancy on a giant step for U.S.-Russian relations.
The Americans brought 160 people to Russian mission control to watch the docking, including the American ambassador, Thomas Pickering, and the crew of the space shuttle that will bring Thagard home in June. Russian spacecraft had docked with Mir dozens of times, but still, the room was tense as Soyuz moved in.
We have the first contact of the two vehicles.
Nobody smiled more than astronaut Bonnie Dunbar. She underwent the same training and would have been Thagard's replacement if he could not have flown. An hour and a half after the docking, the hatch between the two spacecraft opened, and Thagard was first to float into the Mir space station, to be welcomed the way Russians welcome visitors to their homes, with bread and salt, as well as a big hug from cosmonaut Elena Kondakova. Thagard will remain aboard Mir for 90 days, making him the American astronaut with the most time in space. For Americans like astronaut Frank Culbertson, accustomed to thinking of the Russians as the enemy, it's all a little overwhelming.
Well, I guess it sounds kind of unprofessional, but it's awesome. This is really incredible to see these two countries come together in this way.
All of this is leading 2 years from now to beginning construction on an international space station, something neither country could afford to do alone. So more than two spacecraft were joined today. In a sense, the American and Russian space programs docked as well. John Dancy, NBC News, Moscow.
However, not all is smooth between the two countries tonight. The Senate today passed an amendment that would cut off all American aid to that joint space station that Bud Dancy talked about unless Russia cancels a scheduled sale of 2 nuclear reactors to Iran. In news on the economy tonight, retail prices.
But taking first steps into unfamiliar places. First, a breath of fresh air for Ivan the gorilla. For most of the 30 years since he was captured in Africa, Ivan had lived in a glass cage at a shopping mall in Tacoma, Washington. Last fall, he was taken to the Atlanta Zoo, where today he began getting used to the relative freedom of the zoo's rainforest. The other unfamiliar first step was taken in space. The first American astronaut ever to be sent up in a Russian spaceship has arrived at the Russian space station that he will call home for 3 months. ABC's Nat Potter on his Russian reception.
It was a zero-gravity meeting, weighty with potential.
U.S. astronaut Norman Thagard enters in and is greeted by flight engineer Elena Kondakova.
It was marked by parade music, traditional Russian gifts of bread and salt, and the universal tradition of camcorders. Norman Thagard, a veteran of 4 U.S. shuttle flights, once also bombed communist targets in Vietnam. Now he's a guest on the space station Mir, originally one of communism's crown jewels.
Dr. Thagard, I presume.
Thousands of miles away were the nearest Americans, U.S. astronauts on the space shuttle Endeavour.
How are you liking your new home there, Dr. Thagard? You all settled in? It's not bad at all. It's nice and roomy.
But it's also falling apart with the rest of the Russian economy. Parts of Mir are 9 years old. The electric system is overloaded, the shower good only for saunas. For Russia, joining the Americans may mean getting the money to keep flying. Good cheer was abundant today on the Cosmos, but for Norman Thagard, now comes the hard part. He and 2 male colleagues stay up here, alone in space, for 3 long months. Ned Potter, ABC News.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. One personal program note, later this evening.